Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you're here tonight to rest your mind and settle in for sleep. Take a slow breath in and let it go gently. There's nowhere to be, nothing to do, just this calm moment. Tonight's story was written by Elena, who captures the quiet beauty of ancient places and the peace that lives in stillness. We'll travel together to the hills of ancient Greece, where moonlight rests on silver leaves, and a gentle spirit guards the oldest olive tree in the world. Before we begin, let's allow the body to relax. Take another slow breath in through your nose and let it fall softly out through your mouth. Let your eyes grow heavy. Notice the softness around your face, your jaw, your neck and shoulders. Let them ease and loosen as your arms grow warm and heavy. Let your hands rest, palms open. Feel the slow rise and fall of your chest, the quiet rhythm of life itself. Now your legs, your thighs, calves, and feet, completely supported, completely still. There's nothing to hold on to. Just breathe and let go. Now imagine the faint scent of olive leaves in the air, fresh and green, carried on a soft sea breeze. The air is warm, the ground cool beneath you. You can almost hear the gentle hum of crickets, and somewhere nearby, the slow call of an owl. Above you, the sky fades to twilight, violet and gold, a single star beginning to shine. You are safe here. You are calm, and you are already halfway to sleep. So rest now, my friend. Let the world grow softer around you, and the story begin to unfold. This is the Nymph of the Olive Grove. The night has passed, and the first hints of dawn begin to touch the edge of the horizon. Far away, in the quiet hills of Greece, a gentle sea wind stirs the air, moving through olive branches that have stood for 1,000 years. The world feels half awake, neither night nor morning, but something beautifully in between. Mist gathers over the slopes, soft and silver in the early light. The air smells faintly of salt and of warm earth, and of green leaves that whisper in the wind. You can almost hear the hush of the Aegean Sea below, waves breathing softly against the shore, a sound so rhythmic and slow that it could be the earth itself, dreaming. In the distance, the first birds begin to call, clear and delicate, like tiny strings plucked on a harp. One by one, light spreads across the landscape, slipping over marble columns and weathered stone paths, spilling into courtyards and over rooftops. It touches the old temples first, their white pillars glowing with a soft, golden warmth, as if the gods themselves had brushed them with sunlight. Then it reaches the olive groves, a sea of silvery green leaves that shimmer and sigh in the wind. The trees stand close together, their roots tangled deep in the hillside, their bark worn smooth by time and touch. And at the center of the oldest grove, there is one tree greater than all the rest. Its trunk is wide and twisting, its branches sprawling like open arms. Some say it was planted by Athena herself. Others say it simply appeared where the goddess once walked, long before men built cities or roads. The villagers call it the heart tree. To them, it is more than wood and leaf. It is a presence, a memory of something divine. In the soft light of dawn, the grove feels alive. You can almost sense the quiet watching, as if the trees themselves remember every prayer, every whisper, every story ever told beneath their shade. A shepherd passes along the path, his sandals brushing the grass, his flock moving slow behind him. He pauses for a moment, bowing his head to the great tree, before continuing toward the valley. Nearby, a narrow stream glides over smooth stones, its surface catching flashes of gold from the rising sun. A dragonfly hovers above it, its wings trembling in the still air. There is peace here, an ancient, grounded peace that asks for nothing but silence and breath. And within that peace, in the cool shadow of the heart tree, something stirs. At first it is only a shimmer of light, like dew moving over bark or sunlight flickering between leaves. Then slowly it takes shape. A figure, soft as mist and pale as dawn, her form woven from light and air. She moves with the grace of wind in tall grass, bare feet brushing the roots below. Her hair flows like moonlit water, and her eyes hold the calm of endless twilight. She is the nymph of the olive grove, keeper of this sacred place. She has watched over these hills for as long as the trees have grown, and perhaps even longer. When she breathes, the branches sway. When she hums, the morning air seems to glow. And today, for reasons known only to the gods, she feels a stirring in the wind. Something different, something new. The first light of the sun touches her hands. She looks toward the horizon, toward the sea where Athena once rose in triumph. And the nymph smiles, for she knows a story is beginning again. The first light of morning now filters through the grove, and the silver leaves of the olive trees shimmer as if whispering secrets to one another. The nymph stands quietly beside the heart tree, her hand resting on its rough, time-worn bark. The tree's roots run deep beneath the soil, and through them she can feel the hum of the earth, slow, steady, alive. Each dawn she greets the grove in silence. She breathes in the scent of the trees, the faint sweetness of figs nearby, the soft salt of the distant sea breeze. To her, every sound has a rhythm, the whisper of leaves, the murmur of the wind, the heartbeat of the land itself. This is her music, and it has played for thousands of years. But today, the music feels different. The air carries a quiet longing, a feeling she cannot name. She kneels beside the base of the great tree, her fingertips brushing through a patch of soft moss. And there, hidden beneath the roots, A single olive branch begins to glow, faint at first, then brighter, like a tiny flame beneath the soil. The nymph watches as the light grows, spilling upward through the cracks in the bark, until the branch itself begins to bloom. But what blossoms is not fruit. It is a single flower, pale as morning light, its petals the color of moonlit ivory. It opens slowly, as if waking from a long, peaceful dream. The nymph leans closer. The scent is unlike anything she has known. Not of olive or blossom, but something deeper. A fragrance of peace and patience and life. The sound of the grove seems to hush around her. Even the wind stills, as if waiting. This is no ordinary bloom. She knows this. It is a gift, born from the love of the earth and, perhaps, from the goddess herself. For a moment she sees a soft shimmer in the air, a presence, faint and golden. A voice, no louder than a sigh, seems to echo through the leaves. Guard this gift, for it carries the spirit of the land. The nymph closes her eyes, bowing her head. She understands. This flower, this light, is not meant to be hers alone. It is meant to bring calm, to remind those who find it that beauty and kindness grow quietly, in the most ordinary of places. And so she lifts the small blossom from the earth, cradling it gently in her hands. It feels weightless, as if it were made of morning itself. She places it at the base of the great olive tree, nestling it into the roots where sunlight and shadow meet. From that moment, a faint glow lingers in the grove. Every sunrise, the petals catch the light and gleam softly, as though remembering the nymph's touch. The villagers who pass along the path begin to notice it. Some say it's just a trick of dawn, light playing between the leaves. Others whisper that it is a blessing, a sign of Athena's favor, a reminder that peace still lives in the world. And every evening, when the wind grows still and the sky turns violet, the nymph walks among the trees, her presence barely seen, her song a quiet hum in the air. She hums not to be heard, but to keep the grove alive, to weave light into the leaves and rest into the hearts of all who wander near. That same evening, when the air had cooled and the sky began to turn the color of figs and wine, a traveler walked the narrow path that wound between the olive trees. He was a young poet, though his name has long been lost. All that is remembered is the soft rhythm of his sandals on the earth, and the way his eyes carried both wonder and weariness. A soul who had seen much of the world, yet still searched for something gentle. He had left the busy cities behind, seeking quiet. He told himself he was looking for words, but really, he was looking for peace. The path curved along the hillside, each step releasing the scent of herbs, thyme, wild mint, crushed leaves. The sea shimmered far below, its surface breathing silver beneath the first rising moon. Somewhere ahead, he heard the hush of wind moving through trees. Not ordinary trees. These seemed to murmur, to listen. He followed the sound, curious, unhurried, until he reached the grove. The air changed there. It was cooler, softer, touched with the fragrance of olives and earth after heat. A feeling of stillness spread through him, as if even his thoughts began to walk slower. And then he saw it. At the heart of the grove, the ancient tree stood tall, its roots deep as memory, and beneath its branches, half hidden in shadow, a single pale flower glowed against the dark bark, soft light pooling like moon water. He stepped closer. The glow did not fade. Instead, it seemed to breathe with him, brightening as he inhaled, softening as he exhaled. Kneeling, he reached toward it. The petals were cool beneath his fingers, thin as silk, trembling at his touch. Its scent rose gently, not sweet, not strong, but pure and clean, like rain falling on warm stone. Something inside him eased. The noise of his wandering, the restlessness of his heart, all of it quieted. He did not feel the thrill of discovery or the hunger of possession, only peace. A calm so deep that tears pricked his eyes, though he could not say why. Memories drifted through him like clouds, his mother's hands braiding reeds by the fire, a childhood morning near the harbor, a friend's laughter carried on the wind. All simple, all gone. And yet, in that stillness, nothing felt lost. The nymph, unseen, watched from between the branches. Her gaze was gentle, curious. She could feel his calm spreading through the grove, like ripples in a clear pool. For centuries she had guarded this place, but few had ever come with hearts quiet enough to truly see. This mortal did not reach to pluck the flower. He only looked, and then bowed his head, as though greeting an old friend. The nymph smiled. The breeze stirred. Olive leaves brushed against one another in soft applause. He lingered until the moon rose high above the hills, silver light slipping through the trees. Then he stood, placed his hand on the rough bark of the great tree, and whispered a single word. Perhaps a thank you. Perhaps a prayer. And when he left, the glow of the flower dimmed only slightly, as though content that its purpose had been understood. The poet would later write that he had found a silence that spoke, but here, in the grove, the nymph simply breathed, peaceful, unseen, listening to the rustle of the leaves and the fading footsteps of the mortal who had, for one brief evening, truly understood her gift. As days passed, the story of the glowing flower began to travel quietly through the village. Farmers whispered about it in the fields, children spoke of it by the wells, and the elders nodded knowingly, for they remembered old tales of Athena's blessing. When the moon grew full again, the villagers decided to hold a small festival, a gathering to honor the goddess, to thank her for the olives, the light, and the gentle peace of their valley. By dusk, the village square filled with a scent of baking bread. The bakers brushed their loaves with olive oil until they shone golden beneath the lanterns. Bowls of ripe figs, honeycomb, and warm cheese sat on wooden tables. Someone began to play a flute, and the sound drifted up through the hills like a soft wind over water. From every doorway came laughter and footsteps, the kind that belong only to evenings without hurry. Along the main road, garlands of olive leaves hung between whitewashed walls. Children ran beneath them, carrying small clay lamps shaped like doves and moons. Their light flickered, tiny stars echoing the ones beginning to appear above. And as night deepened, the villagers made their way toward the grove. Each carried a small gift, a wreath, a candle, a handful of earth or grain. They moved in silence now, their chatter replaced by awe. The grove shimmered under the moon, silver leaves moving like gentle waves. And at its heart, the ancient tree waited, calm, wide, timeless. The poet stood among them, a quiet figure near the front. He had not spoken of the flower to anyone, but when he saw the soft glow beneath the roots, his eyes filled with quiet gratitude. An elder stepped forward, her hands steady, though her hair shone white as salt. She laid a garland of fresh olive branches at the base of the tree and whispered words too old to be remembered, too soft to be heard. Then, one by one, the villagers placed their offerings: a cup of wine, a slice of bread, a few petals from the roses that grew near the fountain. The grove filled with the scent of oil and flowers, and for a moment it felt as though the air itself was breathing with them. Above, the moonlight pooled through the branches, silvering every face, every leaf, every whisper. The flowers' glow grew stronger, soft and golden, until it seemed the entire grove was bathed in its light. The nymph watched from between the trees, invisible but not absent. She felt the warmth of their gratitude, their laughter, their stillness. It had been many ages since mortals had gathered in peace beneath her trees, and as she listened to the soft music of the festival, the strum of the lyre, the quiet song of the flutes, the rustle of olive leaves, she smiled. The villagers danced slowly, their feet moving in patterns older than memory. Children fell asleep against their mothers' arms, their heads resting on woven shawls. And the flower, the one born from the nymph's touch, glowed on, steady as a lantern guiding them all toward calm. As the night wore on, the wind carried the scent of the sea inland, cool and soft. The songs faded to murmurs, and soon the only sounds were the chirp of crickets and the whisper of leaves. The villagers left offerings behind, and one by one they drifted back to their homes, their hearts light, their minds quiet. And when the last lantern had gone out, the grove was once again still, lit only by the flowers' glow and the gentle presence of the nymph standing beneath the ancient tree, watching over them all. Later that same night, after the laughter had faded and the last footsteps disappeared beyond the grove, the world grew very still. The moon hung high, round and clear, casting silver light across the olive leaves. The air shimmered faintly with warmth, the kind of quiet heat that lingers after a long summer day. The poet returned. He walked alone, carrying a small lyre slung across his shoulder. He said nothing, but his face held a softness, a peace he had not felt in years. He stood beneath the great tree, the roots glowing faintly in the moonlight, and placed his hand on the rough bark, as if greeting an old friend. The nymph was there, unseen. She felt his presence, his gratitude, his calm. And for the first time in many centuries, she wished to be known. A faint shimmer appeared in the air, no brighter than the reflection of water. The poet looked up. He could not see her clearly, only a suggestion. The curve of light, a motion like the wind shaping the leaves. He smiled softly, and without a word, lifted his lyre. The first notes floated into the air, slow, pure, like moonlight turned into sound. Each string carried the rhythm of the grove itself, the breath of the wind, the hush of branches, the soft murmur of the sea beyond the hills. He played not to be heard, but to offer something, a melody of thanks, woven with quiet love. The nymph closed her eyes. The song wrapped around her like silk, like memory. And as she listened, the grove began to glow. Not from the flower this time, but from every tree, every leaf reflecting the silver of the moon. The wind carried the sound outward, down the slopes, across the fields, and over the sea. Fishermen in their small boats looked up from their nets, wondering what music drifted from the shore. Shepherds half asleep on the hills smiled in their dreams. Even the owls paused their flight, their wide eyes catching the light. The song continued until the stars themselves seemed to hum, and when at last the poet's hands grew still, the grove exhaled, a single breath of peace that rippled through the night. The glow faded slowly, but something gentle remained, a warmth, a stillness, a knowing that love, once offered, never disappears. The poet bowed his head, and when he opened his eyes, the shimmer in the air was gone. Only the olive trees remained, quiet, silver, endless. He whispered one final word, "Thank you." And from somewhere deep within the grove, a soft voice, barely more than the rustle of leaves, replied, "Be well." The wind carried it away, over the hills, into the valley, and out toward the waiting sea. Above it all, the moon shone steady, a witness to the gift that had passed between mortal and spirit. And for many years afterward, travelers who walked that same path swore they could still hear faint music drifting from the olive trees at night, a melody as soft as breath, as constant as love, and as eternal as sleep itself. The night deepens over the olive hills. The last traces of music fade into silence. leaving only the whisper of leaves and the slow rhythm of the sea beyond. The moon begins its long descent, casting pale light across the grove, a soft silver glow that touches every branch, every root, every quiet heart. The ancient tree stands still, its roots reaching far into the earth, its branches stretching toward the stars. Somewhere among them, the nymph moves unseen, a shimmer of calm in the cool air. She hums a tune now, so faint that even the wind must lean close to hear it. It's the same melody the poet played, carried gently through the grove, woven with gratitude and peace. The olive leaves move in time with it, a slow, swaying rhythm, like the breath of someone sleeping deeply. The flower beneath the roots glows once more, its light softer now, a memory more than a flame. It no longer shines for the world to see, but for the quiet hearts that pass nearby, those who walk in kindness, those who listen, those who rest. Above, the stars seem endless, each one a small, patient fire watching over the land. Their reflection ripples faintly on the sea below, turning the waves into ribbons of light. And in this stillness, everything feels connected. The trees, the earth, the sky, and you. You too are part of this gentle world. The breath in your chest is the same breath that stirs the leaves. The quiet in your mind is the same quiet that lives within the grove. Take one last slow breath in and let it fall away easily. You are safe. You are calm. You are loved. Let the last of the story fade like a dream. Let the soft rhythm of your heart carry you deeper into rest. The nymph remains in her grove, the moonlight wrapping her like silk. The trees breathe, the sea hums softly in the distance, and all is well, all is peaceful, all is still. Sleep now, as the olive grove sleeps, rooted, calm, cradled by the quiet of the earth. This is the end of tonight's story, and the beginning of your dreams.